in the way you use your Excel and everything? Have you noticed any improvement? Are you learning? Are you gaining from the training? So if you have any answer to those questions I asked you, can simply put it on the charts, right? So that we can see it. Probably read it later. So yesterday we were able to look at this, how to do text to column. We also learned how to concatenate, right? When you want to concatenate means you want to separate words that are joined together. No, when you want to do concatenate, you have to join words together, right? For instance, if you have words that are separated like this, you need to have them together like this, right? We look at that, that is concatenate. And we looked at two methods we can use. The first one is when you use the concatenate function. Then the second one is when you use this other method. Let me scroll to the right. When you do it this way, okay? So either ways you do it, you get your desired result, okay? Then we also went further to look at how to do text to column, right? And I've also shown us how to achieve that. So to do text to column, you're trying to separate some texts that are like joined together. You want to separate them. Why, if you do concatenate, you're trying to add texts that are separated. You want to add them together as a name. Okay, so we now move further. Move further. So let's see what is here. Okay, so this is another data, right? And I told us whenever you have any data like this, all you need to do is try as much as possible to check if there is actually something they require you to do, or it's just a normal data. So when we press our Alt, let me scroll to the top. When you press your Alt, sorry, when you press Control tilde, you can see if there's any formula in the worksheet. So let me press Control tilde and automatically see that there's no formula in this worksheet. It's just a normal data, right? It's a data that we need to make use of, probably in some computation and so on and so forth. So let's leave this one. We also have sheet one. What do we have in sheet one? So here in sheet one now, we are learning something else. What I'm going to do is this. Okay. So now this is if, using if, right? Then adding concatenate. Then when we have this mode, what does it do? What does mode do, right? So let's click on here. Then the best way to know what something does is to actually try it, right? To actually try it, and let's see what really happens. So this is the first thing we're going to do. This is the marker. This is the number. This is the concate. You're adding some things together and so on and so forth. Let's come to the side. Then this is the formula we are using and all that. But what is that? What is we already know the if function. We already know the concatenate function, right? That is not new to us. But the only thing that is new right now is this mode. And this is telling us mode. Then they open a bracket. They say A2. Our A2 is this. Then they now say 10. So we need to now go and check what are they trying to achieve. What are they trying to achieve? So this A11 and this is this. Okay. So let's go again and check what they are trying to achieve. So when we come to any worksheet and we want to try to know, so let's come here. They say equal to, we now say MOD. So when you press MOD, so returns the remainder after a number is divided by a divisor. So it returns the remainder after a number is divided by the divisor. Okay. So what are they trying to achieve here? Here we are saying that we are trying to divide. So when you are trying to so you say we are saying 1, that is this, right? 1 divided by, is it 1 divided by 10? I'm coming. Let me see. Let me do something quickly. So Okay, so let's just work with what we have on the side. I will still tell us the meaning of this mode, what we use the mode for, right? But you can see that here they nested a certain kind of formula at the right, and I'm going downwards to see all these are okay. Yeah, so all this, I think, is just identifying only. So it's like repeating this a series. For instance, repeating 1 to 9, then the other one. So let's go to the front. You're just repeating a series, like we want to achieve 1 to 9, 1 to 9, 1 to 9. Obvious, probably they use this in a formula. So let's check. They say B. So that's this. So when I come over here, let's do some. Somebody's hand is up. Yes, can you unmute?
Yeah, sorry, sir. I cannot see the screen. Or I don't know if it's from my end or.
Okay, can others see the screen?
I think it's
The
your
screen.
network, sir. The screen.
Yes, I'm
You
not seeing
can
the
see your
screen.
screen.
Okay, so they can see my screen. So if you can't see the screen, please log out and try and log in again. I think that is what you need to do. Okay, so you try and log out and you try and log in again. That is what you actually need to do. So we come to the top here, and we are trying to see. So what this formula is doing is trying to achieve just like what it wants to have is just like 1 to 9. It doesn't want to have an addition like 10, 11, 12. So what it's just doing is that it just take the remainder. So that's what they said. Let's try and erase this formula and try and impute it again. So we'll come here, we double click and divisor. So this is the divisor. So if we are dividing 1 by 10, how are we having 1? So this is the divisor. Okay, so mode. Let me clean this in. I'm coming. Let me do something. So if you look at this our formula, we selected this data here. We put our comma, then we now put 10. So from this data, what they are trying to say is that we have some serial number from here, 1 all the way down to whatever number it is. Then here, what we are trying to achieve is that we want to achieve like from 1 to 9, 1 to 9, 1 to 9, 1 to 9. So we now say the first one is 1. That is, we selected this area, right? We now say comma, then we now put the divisor 10. So can 1 be divided by 10? Yes, 1 can be divided by 10. And what are you going to have? You're going to have like 0.1. So that is why they put the 1 over here. Can 2 be divided by 10? Let's try something. Let's see. 2 divided by 10. 2 divided by 10. I'm coming to 2 divided by 10. Yes, so we also have 0.2. So they also put 2 there. Like that, like that. Then 10 divided by 10 is supposed to be 1. 10 divided by 10 supposed to be 1. So, but let's leave that. I'll still come back and tell us what this mode is doing. So let me quickly do a quick search. Hold on, though. So this the mode function is a mathematical operation that finds the remainder when one number is divided by another. How it works: if you divide A by B, the mode function gives you the remainder, written as example. Now, because 10 equal to 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 1. So remainder is 1. Now, when you have 25, we say 7 times 3. 7 times 3 will give us what? Sorry.
21.
So 7 times 3 will give us 21. Then we now say plus 4. So 8. So now, what I'm trying to do is that, but 5 divided by 2 should also give us like, so they are trying to say that when a number divides evenly, there is no remainder, right? But if a number doesn't divide evenly, then there will be a remainder. So for instance, they give us like an example for 10. They say 3 times 3 is going to become 9, then plus 1. The remainder is supposed to be 9. It's supposed to be 1. So this mode is a complex stuff that I'll come back to, but let's leave that. But because this our function is relying on the information that is here, that is why I am actually bothering myself about it. Okay, but let's come here. If you check this place here, they are trying to, they say that if b3, these are b3, right? These are b3, right? They say if b3 is equal to 1, comma, if b3 is equal to 1, comma, then we are making an argument. So b3 equals to 1. That is the function. If Excel come to b3 and it saw that b3 is not 1, so this is b3 now, this place where b meets column B meet row 3. Okay, so that is b3. So they say that if b3 equals to 1, you are making a statement already. B3 equals to 1. Excel comes to where b3 is. Is b3 actually equal to 1? Excel say no. So therefore, Excel will not put this. When you are trying to put a text, you always have this double quote. So because b3 is not equal to 1, Excel will not choose this answer that you said. Excel now comes and repeat the pattern. So what we are trying to now do is that when I say that because b3 is not equal to 1, we now pick the second answer, which is if we now nested under Excel another if function, we now say that b3 equals to 2, comma, concatenate this. So we are trying to concatenate C3 and C3, comma, and C2. C3 and C2. So that's what we are trying to concatenate. Yeah, so we're trying to concatenate C3 and C2. So we are joining them. Then at the middle, what we are doing is that most times to concatenate, we put this double quote at the beginning and double quote at the end. But in between, they now put this sign to show that is a text. That is what they want to show. So they now say, okay, if this thing is not, they are trying to join this and this. So now say this is going to be 20, the other one will now become 21. So they're just trying to like create a series, and that is what they're trying to do using the if function. Okay, so they went like that and they're trying to create the if function. So, and that is what they did all over here until they achieve what they want to achieve. So like there's going to be a series, they keep adding and all that. So that's how they were able to have all these repetition that they have here. So they are adding this, put a comma. So they start from here, they add this to it. So they will start from here now, I'm sure. They start from here now, they add this to it. They start from here, they add this, they add it. So they're just showing you how to use this in a big formula. So you are trying to like just have series of patterns, and so on and so forth. So if you use it for anywhere that you are having 0, anywhere you are having 1, obviously your answer is also going to be 0. Your answer no answer will show. You have an empty space. So if you copy this one now, also we come and put it here because that's what our function is saying. We put it here. You're also still going to have 0 in that place. So we're just using it to form a pattern. So we have 2 things, 3 things, 4 things, 5 things, 6 things, 7, 8, 9, and so on and so forth. So this is just looking like a step building up and all that. So they can give you this kind of something in probably in a text, maybe an Excel text, they say that, okay, come and use formula to achieve this for us. So this is looking like a step, right? So we just use the if, and then, we want to join data together. We now use the concatenate. And the way the if function, the if is used like a statement and two answers. Then concatenate that they use here is to join things together. But the only thing that this mode now is a little bit confusing because the divider is the 10, and then this is 48. So if 48 is 47, yes, somebody's hand is up, yes?
Please, I'm not seeing your screen.
You can't see my screen. Yeah, okay. So if you can't see my screen, it means that
from the dump side, you can see your screen.
okay, they can see my screen. So they can see my screen. So I guess it's from your end. Okay, so try and adjust your whatever. So let me explain this now. And now I get it now. Okay, I get it. So this is what they're trying to achieve, right? They are trying to tell you that in this when you are multiplying, right? When you're multiplying, you say, or let's just say that we are trying to divide it by 10. How many 10 can you, when you take away 10 from 10, there will be nothing remaining, right? When you take away 10 from 11, so it's like you are subtracting. So this 10 now, we are saying that, okay, how many times can we get 10 inside 10? We take away 10, what will be remaining? 0 will be remaining. Can we take away 10 from 1? No. So 1 will be remaining. Can we take away 10 from 2? No. Can we get any 10 from 1? No, we cannot. So what is remaining? 1 is remaining, like that. But in this 10, we take away 10 from here, 0, nothing will remain. If we subtract 10 from here, so it's like subtraction. We are subtracting it. If we subtract 10 from 11, is remaining 1. Then if you come to where we have like 20, if you subtract 10, you can subtract 10 twice. Then it means that you can say 10 times 10. So we are using 2. We're using 2 to multiply. So we're saying 10 times 10. Or we can say that, 10 times 10. So 10 times 10. Sorry, 10 times 2 is 20. That means that twice, we can take away 2 from here twice, nothing will remain. But if you come to this side, we take away 10 from here twice, it will remain 1. So whatever is remaining is what they are putting. They are putting whatever is remaining. So what we are using is this 10 that is at the back. We are like subtracting 10. If you are you able to subtract 10 from here? No, you cannot. So what happens is left with 1. Are you able to subtract 10 from here? No. What is remaining? 2 is remaining. Are you able to subtract 10 from 10? Yes. Will anything remain? No. Are you able to subtract 10 from 17? You can subtract 10, but what will remain that we cannot subtract? 7 is going to be remaining. Okay, so that is what they are trying to do by what they are trying to achieve. So now, 3 times 3, 3 times 3, 10 times 10, so 10, remaining 7. Okay, so here we can say 10 times 3 is going to be 30, then nothing is remaining. So everything we are trying to achieve, we are trying to say, so that is that. So just look at it as you are subtracting this number that I say. You are saying, how many times can I see 10 in 10? So you can take it away. Will anything remain? How many times can I see 10 in 10? I can see it once. Will anything remain? No, nothing will remain. How many times can I see 10 in 11? I can see it once. Will anything remain? Yes. After taking away 10 from 11, 1 will be left aside, like that. So we now come over here. How many times can I see 10 in 20? I can see it twice. After taking away 10 from here twice, will I see anything remaining? No. 0 will be left. Then when you come to this 33, how many times can I see 10 in 30 or in 33? I can see it 3 times. After I see it 3 times, will anything be remaining after I've taken away 10 3 times from this 33? No. Sorry, yes, 3 will be remaining. When I also take away 10 from 34, I can take it just 3 times. And what will be remaining? 4 will be left. After I take away 10, I subtract 10 3 times. So just see it that way. So we can say here is 10 times 3, right? 10 times 3 plus 4. You're going to get 34. Here we're going to say 10 times 3 plus 5. You're going to get 35. Here, 10 times 3, okay? Then plus 6. The 6 is the extra that's remaining. That is, so what we have over here, we're trying to get the remainder after you use this 10 to see how many times or what can you multiply, okay, 10 by. You say 10 times 1 is 10. After you do that, there is nothing going to remain. So just anyhow you want to understand it, probably you want to use 10, you want to subtract 10 from it. How many times can you subtract 10 from it? I think that will make more meaning to you. If you say, okay, you subtract 10 from here, 0 is remaining. You subtract 10 from here, 1 is remaining. Because this is the formula we're using. Mode, open bracket, A2, which is here, A2 is here, comma, and then we are using 10 to test. So how many times can you subtract 10 from it, and then what is going to be remaining? So we'll do that repeatedly. And let's now come and look at this big one. We have 107. So how many times can you get 10 in 107? We can get it, let's say, I'm coming, let me see, do something else, 107. So let's say 100. In 100, we can get 10, there's 10 tens in 100, then it's going to remain 7. So that I've just used this to explain this, whatever they are using here. But this formula is like they just want to get something like a pyramid, or what would I call this kind of shape. So you can use Excel to actually create designs. So like this is looking like a design that they created now, and you know what Excel is doing. So if Excel doesn't see this thing to be equal to 1, Excel is going to do something. If Excel see this one to be equal to 1, Excel will return a blank space, right? So that's the formula that we use over here. So you can be told to come and design something like this, right? You can be told to come and design something. So probably what I'm going to do is that I will give you this, I'll give you something like this as an assignment, okay? So that you can go and struggle with it on your own and try and design a shape like this. So look at the formula that they use. The formula that they use is that they use if function, right? And they are saying B3 equals to 1. So let's go and check B3. That's the statement we have made. So this is B, and then this is 3. B3 equals to 1. And is that so? No, it's not true. So because it's not true, Excel is not going to pick the blank space that we set, because we set a blank space if truly B3 is equal to 1. We say, give us a text, which double column is supposed to give us a text. But in the middle of that text, we didn't put anything. So it's going to be a blank space. Now, if B3 is equal to 1 trillion, Excel would have given us a blank space. But because B3 is not 1, Excel will not pick the next thing that we have over here. So what's Excel going to do? Excel is going to concatenate, Excel is going to say B3 equals to 2, comma, if B3 equals to 2 now, we've made another statement, right? If B3 equals to 2, we now tell Excel to concatenate C3 and C2. So we are making another statement. B3 equals to 2. Excel check the place. If it's correct, then Excel is going to concatenate these C3 and C2. But if it's false, then Excel is now going to concatenate C3 and D2. So let's go and check what we have over there that we're telling Excel to do. Let's come to that place and see what we're having Excel to do. So we are looking at this place, which is this slide. So we now say here, so look at the formula. We say that we make a statement, B3 is 1. And obviously B3, under the place where our B3 is, which is this place is not 1. Here we have 2 here. This is 2. So because B3 is not 1, Excel is not going to give us this text. Whenever you have double quote, I told us it's a text, right? Excel is not going to give us a text. Excel is rather going to give us the second answer, which is another if function. So this if function now, we made another statement. We say B3 equals to 2. So Excel is also going to check, is B3 equals to 2 is correct. So since B3 equals to 2, then Excel is only going to concatenate C3 and C2. So Excel is going to concatenate, this is C3, right? And this is C2. It's going to join them together and it's going to separate them by this, I don't know what to call this kind of semicolon, right? So it's going to separate them by a semicolon. So let's come to this other side. Now, you know, we are using that formula to tell Excel that if these are B4, this place, if B4 equal to 1, if it's equal to 1 truly, Excel will return a blank space. But because B4 is not equal to 1, in B4 we have 3 here. So B4 is actually equal to 3. So when I come here, we say that is B4 equal to 1? Excel said no. That's why Excel did not pick yes. Excel said no, and Excel came to repeat the if function. We now also make another statement. B4 equals to 2. Is B4 equal to 2? No again. So Excel will not concatenate C4 and C3. Where's our C4? Here is our C4 and C3. So Excel will not do that, right? Because that is not the answer. Then we now say that because the answer is no, Excel is not going to do. Excel is not going to pick this. Excel will now come and do this one. Excel will now concatenate C4. Where is our C4? So this is our C4. I'm coming, you know. Yeah, so Excel is going to concatenate this our C4. Yes, C4, and then D, and so it's going to add this one, join this one to it. So it's not going to pick this one and join this one to it as well. So that's what Excel actually did. So Excel now concatenate C4 and D3. So you concatenate this our C4, right? C4, and then it also concatenate this together. So that's what make it to be long like this. So they just repeated the whole process. They repeated the whole process, and that is how we're able to achieve what we have over here. So is there any question? Everybody, is there any question? Is there any question? So
okay, no, it's no question actually. Sorry, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
I just feel I should add to the explanation in the first formula, the mode formula.
Okay.
Yeah, so what the mode does is it returns the remainder when the numbers in the cells are divided by 10. Like, you know, mathematically, if you divide 1 by 10, it will give you 0.1. So,
Yes.
and mathematically, a number after the decimal point is referred to as a remainder. So that is what that formula returns. It is the remainder that it returns actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what it does.
So if we divide this 9 by 10, what do we have, sir?
It will give you 0.9.
Yeah, so that's what. So if you divide 10 by 10, what we have, sir?
It will give you 1 without a remainder. So when it is not a remainder, it is assumed that it is 0 remainder. So it will return 0.
Okay. So let me quickly do that. So say 10 divided by 10, we have 1. So when I say, so that means that it's going to be anything after the decimal. That is what is the remainder. Okay, so that is that. So thank you for that clarity. So now for everybody, now when you are dividing anything, so here now what we're doing is that we are dividing this number here. If you check this formula is say equal to mode. We open our bracket, we now say A2. A2 happens to be this cell, right? A2. Then we now say we are dividing that A2, this one, we are dividing it by command, we are dividing by 10. So when you divide 1 by 10, we are going to have 1 divided by 10, you're going to have 0.1. So now, anything that is after the point, after the decimal point, is what is remaining. So since 1 divided by 10 is 0.1, we say that 1 is remaining. When we divide 2 by 10, we are going to have 0.2. So anything after the decimal is what is actually remaining. If you now come to 10, you say 10 divided by 10, you are going to get 1. Is there a decimal? There's no decimal, we cannot see it. If there's a decimal, anything after the decimal is going to be 0. So that's why we're having a 0 here. 11 divided by 10. Let's see, 11 divided by 10. Quickly, let's quickly do that. 11 divided by 10. We're going to have 1.1. So you can see that after the decimal, we have 1. So that is why we are having 1 here. So it's the thing that is remaining. After you divide the whole number, when you divide a whole number, you divide it by 10. Whatever you put in this bracket after the comma is what this thing is being divided by. So when we say 1 divided by 10, we are going to have 0.1. So anything after the decimal is the remainder. The remainder is 1. Then when you say 10 divided by 10, you're going to have 1. Is there any decimal? No. There's any decimal, there's nothing after the decimal. So that is why we are saying after the decimal, there's going to be 0. So I think that clarifies that. And thank you, sir, for the input. Okay, thank you, sir, for the input. Now, that is that. Then for this place, we are now using this if to add. So we are now, we are trying, I told us that most of these formulas that we have, we can use them in a longer formula, depending on what you want to achieve. What we want to achieve is that we want to concatenate. And you know, concatenate is like to add things together. So is whatever the remainders of these things are, after we have divided the whole numbers by 10, whatever is remaining is what we want to use for our formula. So for our formula, we are saying that this formula that we have here, there should be a formula here. I thought I put a formula there. So let me copy this and let me, oh, sorry, let me come and copy here. I can't see any formula in all these brackets. Okay, so anywhere there is 1, there is no formula. Oh, undo, Ctrl Z. Okay, so let me also put it here. Let me see what happens. Okay, this is fine. But here, why is it giving us that? Okay, so now, so what I've been able to explain to us the if function, and we know that for an if function, we need to make a statement. When you make the statement, then you let Excel pick the answer that you set. The first statement that we've made, if you look at the formula bar, you discover that we are telling Excel that B12 is equal to 1. That's the statement we've made. So we now come to B and 12. So this is 12. This is our 12. You can see 12. And this is our B. So B12, we have what? We actually have 1. So because we have 1, that is why we told Excel B12 is equal to 1. And if B12 is equal to 1, we told it to give us a text without anything in the middle. And that is why we have a blank sheet that we are having here. But alternatively, if this B12 is not 1, then it means Excel will not give us a blank sheet. Excel is now going to come to the second answer that we pick. The second answer that we put here is another if function. That if function now is also telling us that B12 equal to 2. So Excel comes here again and check, is B12 actually equal to 2? So let's come here, let's come to this side. So Excel now check, let's say like here, we are saying that B13 equal to 2. Excel checks and you see that it's true. So if B13 equal to 2, as the case may be, then the answer we set is the answer that we put after the comma. Anything after the comma is the first answer, right? Then after you get the first answer, you put a comma, you're going to get the second answer. So here, we say if B13 equal to 2, hold on, is like, I don't know if it's my network or if it's this. Okay, let me check this. Why is this giving me this? Let me press escape. Okay, so now when I say if B13 is equal to 2 and Excel checks and B13 is actually 2, so what will Excel do? Excel now picks the answer that we set. Excel concatenate C C13. So what is our C13? Our C13 is right here. So this is C13. Excel is adding this C13. Yes. So this is C13. And what else is Excel doing? And C12. So this is C13 and this is C12. So that is what Excel is actually going to do. And that is what Excel did. Excel added this. Then he put a semicolon at the middle. It's adding this and this together. Okay, that's what we have here. But when we come to the next place, it's going to, because we already have these two things at the top added here. Excel is, if Excel needs to pick this one now, Excel will not pick this one, pick this one, pick this one. When this and this has been added here already, so Excel will just pick here and then he add this one to it to make it 3 in this place. So that's how they were able to repeat the pattern over and over, and then they were able to achieve many things. So what they are just trying to do is that they're going to pick one here and come and pick what is inside this place. So already inside this place, we already have something that is long. You just add this one to it, makes it longer. So that's how they're able to do something that looks like a step. They look like a step. So I want us to, I may not, okay, what I'm going to do is that I will send us the formula, right, that we use for this area. I also, we already know this formula that we have here, the mode, and we know what the mode does. So you are going to recreate this data. You're going to recreate this thing, and I want to see this thing increasing like the way you have a step. Like from here now, if you are climbing a step, you start from here, right? From here, you move to this side, you keep climbing, you keep climbing. So this is like making a step with all these numbers. So I want us to recreate this, recreate it, and let's see who we get it among us. So we get it among us. So you need to recreate this. Are we together? So here, don't forget that here at the side here, they just this is what they did in this side. This is what they did. So let's try and do something. Let's try and do something. Let me see. Is it B5? No. Sort. Okay, so let's come to this place. So let's click add. Let's click add. Okay, so when we click on add, so what they did is that let's check it. What are the headings that they have? The first one is the serial number, which is always going to be 1, and then you add. Then we now have the marks. We have the numbers that you want to use. Then we have this what you want to join together. So let's pick it: serial, markers, and numbers. So let's quickly do it in this our sheet. So the first thing we're going to do is we have our serial number, serial, right? This is our serial number, and usually our serial number is going to be 1. So it's going to be 1, right? Then we can now come to this side and come to the middle here. We now hold it, and then we press our control key. We can drag it to anywhere we want to drag it to. So we just keep dragging to anywhere you want to drag it to. So let's as we want to drag it to the next to 2000. Okay, so I think we have part 2000. Can we even do it to 3000? So just drag it to 3000. Like let's see, you're dragging it to 3000. Okay, so it will be too long, I think. Yeah, it may be too long, but let's just leave it at that 2000 that I mentioned, or possibly 1000. So I don't want to stress us so much. So let's leave it at 1000. So it's going to, on its own, it's going to continue to increase those numbers from 1 to that value. So let's check here. 1000. So just know that you are holding that you are right clicking, and then you hold your control key. Okay, if you want one to continue to add, because we don't have pre-made series for numbers. We don't have pre-made series for numbers, but if you want to create, if you want Excel to still give you what you want to get, then you're going to use the autofill undo. It's autofill undo now that I'm using to achieve this. So when we come to 1000, yes, then drop your right click first. So before you now leave your control key. So we can see that this it got to 999. Then we have to click it once more. we click it and we hold our control key, we drag it one more, and now we have 1000. So that is that. So let's press Control Home. We go back to the beginning. So when you press Control Home, you go back to the beginning of your formula. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to have the markers, right? So this is the markers. So this is the marker. So this marker now is where we want to start dividing all these things, all these whole numbers, the serial number. I want to divide them by 10. So how do we do that? We want to now know, after we divide it by 10, what is remaining after we divide it by 10? So now remember that you check if your answer is giving you a decimal, is anything after the decimal that is the remainder. So now say it's like saying that it's like saying equal to, okay, so it's like saying equal to this figure, right, divided by 10. So once you click on enter, you discover that you have 0.1. So anything after the decimal is what is remaining. So to now do that, to achieve that, we use mode. Mode is what we want to use. So when I say MOD, we open our brackets. Then we know that we want to, this is what we want to divide. We want to divide 1. Okay, we want to divide all the whole numbers. We want to divide them by 10. So we put 10, we close our bracket. Then we now click on enter. So once you have this thing like this, what you can do is that just autofill, double tap. So automatically it goes like that till you get to the end of where your number is on its own. So just double tap it and it goes like that. The autofill handle goes like that to the bottom. So let's now press Control End. Control End. You can see when you press Control End, you get to the end of the worksheet. So to go back to the beginning of the worksheet, press Control Home. Control Home, you go back to the beginning of the worksheet. So to get to the end of the worksheet, Control End, you get to the end of the worksheet. To go back to the beginning of the worksheet, Control Home, you get back to the beginning of the worksheet. So the next thing we want to do is that we want to now have the other number that we want to be using, like the step. So what do we call that number? What they call the number over here? Let's check what they call the number. No, not here. Let's check what they call the number here. So just numbers, okay? It's just numbers then. Yeah, they just call it number. So let's call this one number. So this is what I want us to do. You do it and submit it as an assignment. So we now have numbers. So this is the numbers. So we can just put any number. So what we have to do is I want to select here, right? Select and click on end. So what we're going to do to select and also select to the end, we can just hold our shift key and press end. Let's see whether it will work, or shift control end. Yeah, so shift control and end. We selected every part of the worksheet. So shift control and end is what selected all the part of the worksheet. So let me go back to the top. Control Home. I get to the beginning of the worksheet. Then I want to select all these things. I click on where I want to select. I hold my shift. I hold my control. Then I will now look for end on the keyboard. There's a place on the right hand side. There's end. So shift control plus end is select every part of the worksheet. So what do you want to do? We want to start putting numbers in all these things, just like I told us. So we want to put numbers. So let's say we want to put like it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of times. But what do we do? 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 I'm coming. Yeah. So let's try something. We can also use this our marker to create something that is going to be unique, right? You can use this our. So let me go back to Control Home. I get to Control Home. So this is what I want to do. I want to say, I'll just put a formula here. I'll just put a data here. Okay, so and I'll say the next piece, and I'll say equal to what is here, right? What is here plus what is here plus here. So let's see what happens like that. So we're going to have this. So it's going to give us unique answer. So let's just autofill, and with that we can get different information. So you can see here we have different informations now. we just created a pattern now. What we did is that, because I don't want to start typing manually here, but want to have different numbers. We don't want to have the same number. So what do? I never type something in the first space at the top, the first cell C2. When I type something in cell C2, then I want different numbers going down like that. I already have a marker here that can make my numbers to be unique, right? So what I did is that I now came to the second cell, also under this cell C, and I put my equals to, right? When I put my equals to, sorry, let me undo, let me press this. So I now put my equals to in this bracket, in this place, right? And I select the first answer that I've imputed at the top. The first answer I've imputed at the top, and I'll say plus the second marker that is on the same row as where I want my answer. So my answer is going to be this one plus whatever the marker is at the side. Okay, so that's what I did, and I click on enter. So once I did that for one of the space, what I just needed to do is that just double tap the autofill undo, and automatically it's going to generate the result to the end of the worksheet. So I can quickly press my control and my end, and I come and see the end of the worksheet. So you can see that here, the datas are unique. The datas are unique on their own. So that is what we are having over there. So if we have been able to achieve that, then the next thing is that we now want to do something. What we want to do is I want to say, let's go to the top, Control Home. Let's go to the top. Now here, in this place, we want to, I think they should merge that cell. Did they merge the cell? Okay, no, it's just one cell. Okay, they did not merge it. So we now come over here. We now say that over here now it's just one cell. Over here we want to have the result of our concatenate. So we now say they call it concate, right? So the result or concates, the result of our merging. So we now come over here. So what do you want to do? We want to use the if formula. We are trying to tell the if that equal to, to do if, you say equal to, you now put if, you open your bracket. Now the if formula or the if function, you have to make a statement. So the first thing I want to do is I want to say this place, right? Because it's the first place, we say this place, right? We say that it's equal to 1. That is the first statement. So Excel will check, is it actually equal to 1? If we actually check this, our marker is actually 1. So we now say comma. If the answer is correct, we now tell Excel that give us, we now do like we want to get a text, we now give us a blank text. There's nothing inside. Give us a blank text. However, if our B2 is not equal to 1, then we now start another answer, which is another if function, right? We open a bracket. We now say our B, our B2 again is actually equal to, if it's not 1, then it's equal to 2. That's what we say. So we now put our comma. If it's equal to 2, right? If it's actually equal to 2, we now say concatenate concatenate, if you want to use the concatenate, you will also open your bracket. They say concatenate, yes, concatenate this place, right? Put your bracket and the top and this place, right? And this place. So if we will not check if this our B2 is equal to 2, right? What it will it do? It will go and concatenate. Sorry. This our formula. We didn't get it well. Oh. So concatenate. We put a comma. Then we now put we also need to put our open colon. Sorry, our what's it called? Our quotes. Then what do you want to have at the middle? Because we want to concatenate, right? And its number, and then we want to have like a separation at the middle. We now put this our semicolon, right? We now put our close column also. Then after that, we put our comma, right? Then we now say concatenate C2 and C1. So that is that. When we are done with that, we close the bracket. Then we put our comma. So that is, this thing is going to pick this. If our B2 is equal to 2, if that is the answer, it's going to pick this answer. That is a true answer. But if it's false, then we now say concatenate, concatenate. We open our bracket. We now say concatenate this, our answer here, concatenate this, right? Concatenate this. Then we now put our comma. We put our double quote. We put the thing we want to use to separate what we have inside. We put another double quote. We put our comma. Then we now say concatenate what we have in this place with what you have at the top, right? So when you have done that, we now close this. I think you're going to put how many brackets are you going to put? Okay, so 1, 2. I think 2 brackets, or is it up to 3? Sorry, 2, and let's put another one. Let's see, 3. Let's click our enter. Okay, so that is fine. So we have been able to create that. You can see what we have done. Now let's now autofill these downwards. Once you've created what you want to achieve, autofill it downward and see what happens. You just double tap it, and okay, I'm coming. Let me do something. So anywhere you have 0 is going to give you something that is wrong. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so let's drag this thing like this. Let's drag it out. Why is it giving me no name? No name. So let's see again. Yeah, so the first one is yeah, so here we now say, who is this person disturbing our class with that with that. So why is it giving us no name? Okay, yeah, it's supposed to be, if it's not true, then it will give us, if our here, this is yeah, so this is B4. So here we say B4 equal to 1, and it came to B4. Instead that B4 is not equal to 1. Yeah, so since B4 is not equal to 1, it's not going to give us this answer. Then it's supposed to, so let me do something. Let me reduce the space in between it. I'm not sure this is what is causing it, but something is actually wrong with this formula that I did. So yeah, we now say yeah, so we have it gave us the answer that we needed here. So let's redo this one by ourselves. It's always giving us this answer. Let's redo this one. We will now say equal to, we say if we open our brackets, we now select where we have the marker. We say this is equal to 1. We put our comma, then we expect Excel to pick the answer. So we now put a double quote in case the answer is 1. Put a double quote in case the answer is 1. We now put our comma. Then if the answer is not 1, we now repeat the if. If we open our bracket again, we read another statement. We say B, this same B4, right, is equal to 2. So we put our comma. If it's equal to 2, what do you want it to do? We want it to concatenate. We open our bracket. We now say concatenate what we have here, right? What we have here, comma. Then we put our open quotes. We put our semicolon. We now close our open quotes, and we put another comma. Then concatenate that, and if it's equal to 2, concatenate that and this. However, if it's not equal to 2, Okay, if it's not equal to 2, okay, it's not equal to 2. So I think there's where the mistake is either I'm supposed to close the bracket. Yeah, so I'm not supposed to put a comma here. Okay, I'm supposed to close the bracket here. I close the bracket. I'm done with the second answer. I put a comma. Then I now put the second answer, which is if it's not equal to 2, right? Then I say concatenate here. Concatenate. Hello? Can anybody hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Can anybody hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Nobody's not. Okay. So fine. So we now say concatenate that place. We put our, then we now put our, what's it called at the middle? Here we put this at the middle. We now also close this our double quote. We now put our comma. Then we now say concatenate here and here. Yes. So we now close our bracket. Then we also put another, maybe it's double quote. We're supposed to put enter. Okay, so it's supposed to be three this thing. Let's put another one. Yes. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So let's now autofill this one to the bottom. Let's try and see. Yeah, so we've done it. So what did we do wrongly before? Let's come and check our formula here. The formula that we did here, what is wrong in the formula? Oh, look at our spelling. Our spelling for the concatenate here is not correct. Okay, so our spelling for the concatenate here is not correct. So we can put E here and everything will work out. Okay, so that is that. So E also, we put E here and our spelling will work out. Can anybody hear me? Hope this thing is not breaking. Hope you can hear me correctly. Some people are calling and I hope it's not distracting the call. You can hear me, right? A thumbs up, you can hear me. Okay, fine. Yeah, so that is that. So you also check your spelling to be sure that you get it correctly. So you can see with this now, we have been able to do our own answer by ourselves. So I also need all of us to also do this as our assignment. So I also need all of us to do this as our assignment. So you need to go and check this video correctly and make sure you get it correctly. So I'm going to move this like this. Yeah, so this is what we are looking for in this. This is what we are looking for. You can see the way I created all this data without having to bother myself, stress myself. So you just need to have the knowledge of Excel. So what did I do? The first thing I did is that I know that at the big, I know that to go to the top of your worksheet, press Control Home. You get to the top of your worksheet. To get to the bottom of your worksheet, press Control End. Okay, you should have that already. So now let's go back to Home, Control Home. You get to the top. I know that this series now, there is no, like the way I created series the other day of John, Bola, I created series inside Excel. But for this one, there is no series. There is no series for numbers. You need to create that numbers. You need to let this thing and add by itself. There are different ways you can do it. Okay, you can decide to say this is number 1, this is number 2. Then you now hold both of them, and then you now put your autofill undo and drag down. So when you have two things like that, okay, when you have two numbers like this, and then you now select both of them, and then you now drag down, they are sharing the same autofill, whatever. So Excel already know that 1 plus 1 becomes 2. So you start adding one to everything, and that is how you continue to go down all through. So you can do that, or you can just come to where you have your 1, hold your 1, right? Come to this, the right hand side bottom. Your plus sign will turn to a plus. Normally your plus sign is always white. When you come to the bottom, it becomes dark. So that is the autofill handle. When it's dark, that's the autofill handle. You left click it. When you left click it, hold your control key. Okay, you see that another plus sign will show on it. When that happens, then you can now drag to anywhere you want the information to get to, and you can leave your right click first. Leave your mouse first before leaving your control key that you have held. The next thing we also do is that we now put this our mode function. The purpose of the mode function is it divides an odd number, right, by whatever you set in the bracket. In this bracket now, we put 10. So it's going to divide all these numbers by 10, right? Then check, is there going to be a decimal? Anything after the decimal is the remainder. So if we say 1 divided by 10, you're going to get 0.1. So the decimal is the point. After the point, what do we have? 0.1. That is why 1 is remaining. When you divide 2 by 10, you are going to get 0.2. So what is remaining? Anything after the point is the 2. So 2 is remaining. When you have 10, you say 10 divided by 10, you're going to get 1. If you're going to get 1, is there any decimal? No. Is there anything after the decimal? No. So that's how we put the thing after the decimal is 0. Nothing is remaining. Okay. So whatever is remaining is something after the decimal. So you don't need to think about it. Just use that formula here and get your desired result. Then the next thing is I also did is that I needed numbers to work with. So the first cell, I put a number there. I thought about it. Do I start filling numbers into this thing manually? It won't make sense because it will take me a long time to achieve it. So I just put number in the first cell. Then the second cell, and I did something. And I said equal to the result I got in the first cell plus what my marker is on the same line that I am. Okay, I say equal to up plus down. That's what I did, and that's why I was able to get this. So once you have a formula anywhere, you just double tap to autofill, and you repeat that formula all through your worksheet. So the next thing we now did is that we now came over here and we also nested a formula. The formula is to want to concatenate things. Okay, so we're now using if function to concatenate, right? So, and that is how we're able to generate all these things. So this thing is going to be your assignment. I've shown us in the class how it will be done. I expect you to be able to replicate it in your workbook. So go and watch the video and come and replicate this thing for me. So this thing is testing not only our knowledge of our functions. So it's testing the if function. It's testing your concatenate knowledge. More of it is testing your if function knowledge, because here is just a statement. It's just repeating if statement and all that. Then here, this is just a mode function. Then here we just do to make these numbers to continue to increase. Then here we just continue to have different data that we don't have before, and we use that to create this step. Okay, so we create that to create this step. So that is fine. Let's leave that and let's go to another thing. So the next thing we have now is how to sort. How do you sort? Now, sorting is very good, right? If you know how to do it. But another thing is that there's another formula that also helps us to achieve what we want to achieve. And I'm going to show us how to get that formula, right? That formula, I'm going to show us how to get that formula. The formula is very wonderful. If you know how to use it, you are going to be you're going to appreciate God that you understand the formula. So most times I use that formula in when you have like a financial statement, like you have a bank statement. That your bank statement, you've already classified your bank statement, and you have, so look at all this information now. Here we could have, like, this is a data. This data can be up to like 1 million data, and then we have on this data we have differences. We have the names of people, we have their employment number, as the case may be. We have their service date, we have their state of origin, we have their department, we have their salary. So we could say that, okay, we want to get how much salary are we actually paying the HR people. Okay, so you can see that the HR people, they are scattered everywhere. It can be here in hotel, like that. So different places. So you want to quickly get how much salary are we actually paying to the HR people. So the best way to do that is, most times people just sort. You just select what your information is, right? Make sure you select all the information. Information is here, and it's also here, right? You can simply press your Alt key. When you press your Alt key, it activates this. You see these mnemonics, like some numbers. It activates it. Then let's assume we are going to. I'm not so sure. Let's assume we are going to review. So under review is under R. So we press R on the keyboard. We press R. Okay. When we press R, we discover that it's wrong. So it's not under review. Let's press Escape. Okay. We press Escape again. And let's start it again. We press our Alt key. It activates the mnemonics again. Then let's check under data. We press A. Yes, it's under data. Then after we are going to this filter. It's filter we want to do. So to sort things, you use the filter. So something that looks like a funnel. Okay. So you now press T. Okay. So you can see automatically now we now have all these. Will I say this drop down handle has been selected. So what you do is that we are trying to get how many HR do we actually pay. You can simply click on this drop down, right? And then say sort it alphabetically, A to Z. You can sort it this way. Automatically, you can see all the HRs will be in one direction. So you can simply come and add it like this. So, but this is also manual. We are doing manual adding because obvious, if we have like 1 million HRs, right? Will you start sorting like this and then start adding manually like this? No. Why not use an if function with a SUMIF function? Because we know that the SUMIF function usually adds, right? You are sending Excel a message that go to this place, go and add this. So we can use a SUMIF function to go and add, right? And then now use another if function to make a statement where Excel will now start depending on that thing that you are telling it to do. So we already know that this to have the knowledge of sorting is very important, but as an accountant, life has gone beyond just sorting and then still start adding manually. Because if you sort, then you now say, okay, here I have HR. Let's assume we have HR from here to all this side. At a goal, you can't get the total salary that you pay to the HR at a goal, but you can use some formulas. Those formulas will go and check wherever you see HR, sum what is at the beginning. They already told us the SUMIF function. So I told us that is to do the SUMIF function, you just say equal to, right? Equal to, you now say SUMIF, you open your bracket, right? You're not telling Excel that come to this. Hey, this is what we're looking at. So come to this row, that is row E, from here to here, come to this place, right? Right? We put our comma. Then what are we looking for? Now we know that at the middle here we have text. This is accountant, it's text, it's not number. So what do? We start by opening our double quote, right? Let's say we are looking for HR. We now say HR. We now close our double quote, right? Then we put our comma. What do you want this SUMIF to do? We want SUMIF to come and sum all this way. So we select the range of where our data is, right? So that is the SUMIF. We close the bracket and we click on enter. So automatically, Excel comes using the SUMIF, right? Excel comes and he come and search for where our accountants are, because the one we are looking for here is accountant. So HR, sorry, it's HR I put at the middle. So Excel is looking for HR and it's trying to say how many HRs do we have? This only these two. So it's going to come and add this HR together, and we're going to get 1 point something million that we have over here. But this is, you want to be specific. So for you to use this, for you to use this if like this, we need to be what? Specific, like, okay, you need to be specific to continue to type those words at the middle. You're going to type those words at the middle. But let me try something. Let me try something. Let's see if I'm going to get what I'm looking for. Let me try something. I now click on, I delete this. No, sorry. So I come and I delete this stuff. Let me try something. Let's say I put some data here. I put okay, let's say I now come, I put all this data here. So let me just sort this thing. So I have like accountant, HES, HR, IT, C, PG, PA, SCM. So let's see, there's no way I can capture this thing, but let me just screenshot it in order for me to get all the names that I did. So let me just screenshot it. Just give me 2 minutes. I want to screenshot. I just want to screenshot. I want to show us that instead of you doing that sorting, which is like doing manual work, you can automate your Excel for Excel to be working wonderfully. So we now come here. We now say that. Okay. So let's now use. Let me go and try if I can get something for you. So let's come to here. Right. We come here. We now have all this data. The first one is accountant, account. Yes, it's account. Sorry, account. The next one is HES. The second one is HR. This next one is IT. The next one is let me see. The next one is PGPA. Then the next one is SCM. So let's now try something. Instead of me to start specifying one by one that I need what's it called? I need each of this item. That means that I need to do for individual item. But no, let's try something. Let's say equal to, right? We now say if. No, not yes. We are trying to use if, Abby. We say if we open our bracket, we say if then want to make a statement, we now say some if we now open our bracket, we now say that we now select the range of the data. So we're trying to select the range of the data. We now say, now when you're trying to select range of the data, to be more on the safe side, right? To be more on the safe side, we know that this data, they are on column column E, and they know that the answers are on column F, right? So let's do something. Instead of us trying to go and select all these range like this manually, right? We are selecting manually. It's going to limit us. It's only going to limit us to where the data is, where we can see. What if we have 1 million data going across? So the best thing to do is that don't put numbers, right? Don't put any number, right? Don't put any number. Just do something like this. Before it, do something like the $sign before it, right? Then after it, also do a $sign also after it. Then don't put any number here. Don't put any number here. Delete the number. Okay, so we have captured the whole of D. So let's now press. If you press Ctrl End, you will see so you can see that here we don't want to just say from E1 or E2 to E10. No, we want to select the total E. So just put $E column $E. It's going to select everything that we have in the total E. So let's press Ctrl End. Let's see where it's going to stop. Okay, so because we are still editing this thing, so we cannot be able to get Ctrl N to see where this thing ends. If you look at it, it's selecting all the worksheet, or the whole of E. So whenever you use that $E, column $E, you are taking everything on E. So when we have done that, we now put our comma, all right? Remember, then the next thing is that we want to now put normally we ought to go and say we want to get HR, for instance. We want it to appear as a text, right? We want to get HR, want it to appear as a text. But instead of us doing that, why not come and select this place, right? Select this place, then We can also make this thing, let's put a dollar sign before this thing, a dollar sign. Okay, we can select this place, right? So that it can, we are not making the row and we are not making the column, we are making the column permanent because our data is on this column down like that, column A. So when I say column A, then row 17, we make row 17 like that. We now come here, what do? We now put our comma. So we have told Excel what we are going to check. We are going to check accountant in this place. When you go to column E, right? If you go to column E, comma, you see A17, which is accountant here. You see it. Then what do I want you to do? I want you to add whatever that relates to accountant in column F. So what will I do? I'll just press dollar sign F, right? Then column, another dollar sign F. Once I'm done with that, then I'll click my, I will close my brackets because I'm using if. You know, if you have to make a statement, right? Now, this is what I don't want to do. I wouldn't want Excel to give me any answer if because at times Excel can give you negative, right? So I answer that if this from column E, right? You see accountant, which I selected account, you see account, add column F for me. And I say, okay, that is when this thing is greater than 0. We say we have made our statement. So if this thing is greater than 0, comma, right, return 0 for me, 0, return 0. Or let's just put, you can also put a dash. We can put this quote, right? We can put a quote that if this is less than 0, sorry, is less than 0. Let's use less than 0. If it's less than 0, give us a blank space. Give us a blank space, right? Comma. Then if it's not less than 0, if it's not less than 0, we now say it's not less than 0. We now say we now use another if. We now say some if open our brackets. We now say from dollar sign E column dollar sign another E comma, you see accountant comma, then some dollar sign F column dollar sign F together. Then we close our bracket. Then we now click on enter. Okay, so it's going to tell me something. Let me see what it's saying. We found a typo in your formula and try to correct it to this. If this, okay, equal to this. Yeah, so it's a double quote I did not put. So at the end of the day, yes. So that is what I did. So you can see that automatically now, this thing is going to, now what I want you to do is that I don't want you to give me any negative figure. Let's assume most times you might have a negative figure. I don't want any negative figure. I want, if it's greater than 0, if it's not greater than 0, don't show me anything at all. So we can come here now, just autofill it, bam, and automatically it's giving me it's giving me for everything at the same time. So I can now come here like this and come and press what am I doing? Yeah, I just come and press comma and look at what we are having. So for HR, we're having this figure. For IT people, we're having these. For account, we're having these, and so on and so forth. So ask me a question on this. So what I just did here is I use if function. However, is it like I cannot use just the sum if alone? I can use the sum if alone and I'll still get the answer, right? I can use the sum if alone and still get the answer. But in a situation whereby I don't want to see any negative, let's say somebody like an HR personnel, because I want to know what is the salary that we paid, right? What's the salary that I'll pay? I don't want to see what somebody's owing us. Let's assume that in January, we're supposed to pay this person, this HR, we're supposed to pay him 672,000 and all that, but he's owing us before. Let's say he's owing us 700,000 before. Then what will be remaining here will be what is owing us, which will be like negative, what will it be? 72,000 from 700,000. We're going to have, is it 28? So it's going to be negative 28. So we want to see what did we pay in? What did we pay these people? I'm not trying to get what anybody is owing us because we are going to be having negative here. And I don't want to do that plus and minus. I just only want to see what did we pay to people. So that's why I have to use an if statement. I say equal to if, I open my bracket, then I now use the sum if. I know that the sum if, I am able to come and take, okay, come and sum account for me. It's going to go and sum account for me. Come and sum HR for me. It's going to go and sum HR and so on and so forth. So let me ask question. Do we understand what I just did now? Or is like magic? Is it like magic? Okay, omit your mic, everybody. Omit your mic.
Yeah, I understand, sir, but I would love to ask a question.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if
Go
you
on.
can go back to the last one you did, right? You combine both
Yes.
if and the sum if function. Now,
Yes.
if you look at the first one you did where you use only sum if, it also give us
Hello?
the can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go on.
Okay, I said the first one you did before this last one, it also give us the right answer for HR. So my
Yes.
question now is in this function, in this formula now, the formula you use now, if you remove the if in the beginning and clear the formula from that less than zero onward, are we going to like, is it going to give us the same result? Like if we don't want to use the if, we just want to use equals to sum if dollar e and dollar sorry, yes, the I don't know if you understand where I'm going, Sha.
Yeah, I understand. So you still get your answer. You still get your answer. But most times we use this when we are having, most times you are trying to do we're trying to do debit and credit. The same what you do for debit will be different from the formula we're going to use for credit, right? So it's better you nest both of them together, if and the sum if, right? I'm still going to show us on a larger scale. What you're asking, you can achieve it also. So let me do that for you. You can also achieve it. But I just explained to us why I added an if to it. The reason why I added an if to it is that I don't want a situation. Let's assume one of the HR is actually owing us money. Instead of also paying, we are trying to get how much did we pay. We're not asking how much are we owing, and then we are adding. So if any of the HR is owing us negative, right? When of the HR is owing up negative, then I don't know how to put it. Like let's say we paid one 670, the other one, because most times you can see bank statement. No, you can see how do I put it? Most time we say the if you see bank charges on the credit side, minus bank charges on the debit side, you want to have the remainder. So that is how we use it. Okay, so that is why we normally put if it's greater than zero. Okay, it's only things that are greater than zero I want to see. If it's not greater than zero, don't show me anything. But you can still use what you are trying to do and you see achieve it. So let's quickly come here. Let's clear away this our if over here. Let's clear it away and let's only start with if. Let's clear away this our if. Let it be only sum if, right? So we come here, we clear away this our if. Okay. Then we come here also, we clear away all these things that are here. So we clear away all these things that are here, right? We clear away all these things that are here. We delete them and click on enter. You're still going to get your answer. So let's autofill it. You still get your answer. You can see you're still going to get your answer if you also use it like this, right? But I know why I'm using the other method. If you also check other worksheet that we have been using, you will see that instead of them to just, it's easier to say this times this, you get your answer. Or you can say this times this. Now we don't want any zero to show. the reason why they do that is that they don't want zero to show. For instance, you say this, now you start seeing zero like this. You start seeing zero. You start seeing numbers. You start seeing numbers like this. Maybe you start seeing numbers in your worksheet to show that there is something in that place, but it's zero. But we don't want anything to show. We want there to be a blank space. We want there to be a blank space, like it's going to be like a test, but the test we won't see it with our eyes. So that's what they want to do. So we don't want to see that formula that we use, because if you say this, this, and we're getting zero, let's assume here we have 670. We have 676. Sorry, we have 620 positive. We have 620 negative. When you add it together for HR, we're going to get zero. We don't want to be seeing zero in our worksheet. We don't want to be seeing zero in the worksheet. Rather, sorry, let me undo this. So we don't want to be seeing zero in our worksheet. So let me do something. Let me try and see if there's a way I can do it. Let's assume I have this is a SCM. Okay, those are just two. I can also use HR. Let's assume here I have positive 460, and here I have negative 460. Negative 460. 1, 2, 3. Let me click on enter. So let's see. So you can see now it's showing us that there is something here, which when we click on it, we know that it's zero. So when automatically you know that there is zero here. We don't want to have any sign here. But let's use, if we use the other formula that we used the other time, let me undo. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Yeah, fine. So let's have that. This is it. Is it the same thing here? Yeah. So everything is like that. Now let's now repeat what I've just done. Okay, I come here now. I put 4 minus 460 here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's still showing the same thing. Okay, so in that case, you are good to go with what you want to achieve. But the best thing is when you are having when you have bank statement, bank charges, for instance, bank charges on the debit side, you have bank charges on the credit side. You want to do the plus and minus, okay, to get something. So now the debit side, okay, there's a way we want it to appear different from anything that is on the credit side, okay? So that's why we normally use our formula to make us get what we want to achieve. But it's not like if you don't do that you will see achieve what you want to achieve. But you just add professionalism most times the next formulas like this. Okay, so that is that. So who has any other question? I want somebody that is not so vast in Excel to ask question, not you, sir. Any other person that wants to ask question? Hello, are you lost? If you're lost, let me know. I can come back. I can take it slowly again for you to get it. Anybody that is lost on this call, is it too complex for us? Do you need me to break it down again? Feel free. Don't be shy. Feel free. Speak your mind. Nobody's going to caution you or anything. The purpose is to build our knowledge in Excel, and that is why we are in this class. So if you don't speak up, I will assume that you all know it, or it is too complex. You just believe that you can't know it. You don't want to even bother yourself to ask questions. So let's get feedback. Are we together? Did we get it? Are we good to go? Can we end the class for today? Okay. Yeah, I think she got it. All we need is to practice more. Okay, that's fine. So all you need to do is to practice more. Fine. So you can always go back to the video, watch it and watch it and watch it, and gain what you want to gain. Okay, on that note, thank you everybody for joining. Today happens to be a Friday. So tomorrow we'll not have a class because we are going to start our Zoho Books training tomorrow. So if you are interested in Zoho Books, you can join us for weekends. Okay, for Zoho books is also free, and feel free to ask for the link to the group where we are holding the training. Okay, so it's also free. Don't hold back. If you want to gain that knowledge, you can always gain the knowledge. So on that note, do have a lovely night. Don't forget to continue to subscribe and to continue to share the good news. We shall continue again on Monday, same time on Monday. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so, please remember to give us